Hey everybody, Zack here with Coliseum of Comics. This week on Zack's Stack, I've got one of my favorite just storylines from that series. I've got Thor issues 154 through 157, and I picked this storyline for a couple reasons. First of all, this is Jack Kirby when he was in his prime, pumping out books constantly, and also for Silver Age comics, you don't really get a full-fledged out storyline, let alone a 4-issue storyline that's spread across. The earliest I can really think about it was some issues of Fantastic Four. I think issues 16 and 17 are a connecting story, but for a 4-issue mini story to come across, it's really crazy for the time. So, background on this story: Thor had just finished fighting Loki in this issue, and Odin was able to stop the fight, but Sif got really hurt. She's in the hospital, so Dr. Donald Blake, which if you didn't know, that's Thor's human alter ego, which is not talked about at all in modern comics at all, so that's interesting. And Odin is in the Odin sleep, which basically is a sleep that gives him life, so nobody can wake him up. That he's just recovering from it. But as that's happening, Thor has this feeling that he needs to go back to Asgard. There's something that's pulling him there, and that's because one of the trolls, I forgot his name, Ulik, the troll, gets casted down from this mountain and finds this sign that says, "Let no living being disturb what lies within by order of Imperial Odin." And he's like, well, I don't like Odin at all, so I'm just going to break this open, because that's what you do with sealed things. You open them to bring danger on everybody. And no other than the Man-Gog appears. This is his first appearance, and nobody really knows who he is. All you know is that Odin had him locked away, which if Odin had something locked away, it was probably for a good reason. And this Ulik is like, well, you can help me take out Thor and take out all of Asgard, and I can help you. And this guy, the Man-Gog, is like, no, I can't. I want to kill everything. I want to get rid of the whole world. He's going to bring forth Ragnarok, because Odin got rid of his whole race, basically, and then locked this guy up. So this guy's got the power, and I like the way they word it in here, because it's super hokey, because it's from the 60s. He's got the power of, I think it's a million men, or a billion people, and that's just super interesting. But anyway, so that's on the loose. You don't know what's going to happen with that. Thor goes back to Asgard, and they know that something's coming. And before Thor can get there to help out with Odin being in the Odin sleep, Loki comes and basically puts himself on the throne, because he beat Thor, so technically that allows him to get on the throne. So that's basically what happens in this issue. It's a lot of setting up. Forewarning for anybody that's ever read a Silver Age comic, especially a Silver Age Thor comic, it is very, very hard to get through. If you had trouble reading Shakespeare in high school, you are not going to like Thor, because it is basically Stanley trying to be Shakespeare, and that's even better. But moving on to the next issue, this is where some of the action starts. So we're trying to fight this guy. We've got all these people from around the world that are trying to prevent Ragnarok, because if Ragnarok comes and this guy is able to unsheath the Odin sword, he can get rid of everything. So it doesn't matter if he just wants to kill Asgard, or he wants to kill the whole universe. It's in everybody's best interest to help out Asgard, because without Asgard, nothing can exist. Also, there's this weird little kind of background story going on with Balder the Brave, which if you don't read old comics, you probably don't know who Balder is, but basically he's Thor's brother, one of his other brothers, because Thor's got a billion brothers, and this girl loves him, but he needs to go to Asgard to save the world, and she sends these guys on him to basically kill him, because he doesn't want to be with her. That was a weird part of the story, and then it ends up kind of getting into more. These comics are not perfect. They're fun. I really, really wanted to highlight them because of the Jack Kirby art. Because honestly, the next 3 issues are fighting. That's an awesome splash page there. I mean, this was him at the top of his game. The way that he made these characters jump off the page, they're not pretty, but they're just so nice. And this is Vince Colletta inking, and Vince Colletta has a very interesting story with Jack Kirby. He actually simplified a lot of his lines, but for some reason in Thor it works. He's not as good of an inker for Jack Kirby as somebody like, say, Joe Sinnott or Dick Ayers or something like that, but for these Thor comics it kind of works. So Thor keeps trying to fight this man god guy. Sorry, that was a long tangent. She's trying to fight this man god guy. Everybody in Asgard gets kind of destroyed. Nobody can beat him. Thor's hit him with a cyclone. He's hit him with just about anything you can throw at this guy. He's beat the Warriors 5. He is just kind of tanking everybody. And so they finally, like, what are we going to do? Loki doesn't want to help because he basically has this whole plot in his mind that he wants the Mangog to take out Thor, and then Loki with his powers is going to be able to just save himself. He doesn't want to save Asgard. He wants to save himself, and he wants to be the king, because that's all Loki wants. Especially in these comics, Loki is very evil. He is not like Tom Hiddleston in the movies, where he's like this redeeming kind of wisecracking character. This is not that Loki at all. And so this Mangog is just coming. He's coming to Asgard, and he's knocking down all the fortresses and everything, just getting rid of everybody, trapping Thor. And he finally says, I'm done fighting you. You're like a gnat to me. And he just goes right into Asgard. And they've prepared basically for the worst, that if this guy gets this Odin sword, we're done. So he gets into Asgard. Thor follows him. He lands on his back, and they fight again. And Thor loses. Thor keeps losing throughout this whole series. And I think that's really interesting, because you don't really get to see Thor lose. So they're really building up to that. This guy, he's going to bring Ragnarok, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Like, that is what ends all the Norse gods and the myths, is Ragnarok. So they're in Asgard. Everybody's trying to come band together and save them. Here's Thor hitting the Mangog with a cyclone. He's hit him with thunderbolts. He's hit him with just about everything that Thor can do. And all Thor's got is a dislocated arm from trying to hit this guy, and this guy can't even do anything about it. And Odin's asleep. If they wake Odin up, he is going to basically like destroy the world, and he's going to die. Like, Odin needs to sleep. So finally, after all this happens, all of a sudden Balder, who was with that girl the whole time and fighting for his life, just shows up out of nowhere. She's like, all right, you guys can go and save Asgard. So Balder shows up, and he's like, I'm here to save Asgard. Like, we're here. Let me see if I can find the page for you guys, so you can see Balder come in and save the day. Balder's like, I'm here. Like, this is your reinforcements. And guess what? The Mangog still beats him. They hit him with this lightning cannon. This is so fun. When I love when they do these in old comics, like the type of stuff that they hit people with. It's so cartoony and so comical, but it's like, wow, they've got this big ray gun that they're gonna stop this guy, but they can't. Finally, Loki flees. He's like, I can't handle this. Like, if I can like somehow save myself, I'm gonna do it. The recorder's there because he knows that the end of the world is near, and he basically has to record it. And Thor's banding with Sith, and they have to guard this Odin sword. And Thor's basically the whole time like, I might be a gnat, I might be powerless compared to you, but I can still fight, and as long as there's breath in me, I'm still gonna fight, and they can also win. He can win. So Thor loses, and this guy pulls the Odin sword. It's like, let Ragnarok fall. He is like completely gonna take over. And finally, Thor combines his powers with Odin's powers as he's pulling out the Odin sword, the Mangog. Thor combines and makes like a cyclone basically, and that wakes Odin up. And Odin is basically like, in 2 pages, saves the day that Thor couldn't solve in 4 books, which is just showing you how powerful Odin was at this time. And he basically says that he didn't kill all these people. He basically just trapped them inside the Mangog. So his power, the power of a billion people, is just all the people living through him. And that was his spell. So Odin basically was like, I relinquish the spell. You are free. The Mangog disappears, and all the people that Odin had entrapped over all this time basically were free to live again. Yeah! So that was 4 issues of a Silver Age comic. Not a lot happens, and that was like kind of something that I wanted to talk about, because in Silver Age books, not too much happens. They were for kids. These comics were meant for kids, and they're fun. If you like pretty art, if you like fun, kooky kind of stories, these are great. Thor is one of the best places to read these. Thor and Fantastic Four, that was Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's like 2 favorite titles. But if you want a long Silver Age 4-issue story, this is one of the best ones. It's still one of the top Thor stories of all time, just because of what it was doing at the time. It was very revolutionary, very interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about some Silver Age Thor books. If you want to see more, there's more videos of me talking about fun comics all over our YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment, like it, and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next Zack Stack.